Wow, this is another 9/11. This is a an MLK assassination level, JFK assassination level type of thing. These are the sorts of things that shock people, like for real shock. And I'm not just talking about a little bit of shock where you just kind of shake it off. These are the sorts of things that live in your memory probably until the day that you die. And this is something that, our generation will talk about for years to come. And that is, this assassination attempt on Donald Trump. And I think that this goes a little bit deeper than most people think. And so many people, you know, they're just divided in the United States. And this is one of the reasons why I left the United States. I left, I mean, realistically, I left in like 2020, and I've lived in various different countries. And at one point in time, I love my country. I'm staying. You can never kick me out. True patriot. But the older I get, the more I start to understand that I want a few things. I want as much freedom as I possibly can have. I want safety. That's a big thing, right? And I really want to live in a place where there's not, banana republic type politics going on. Now, I'm going to talk to you guys about some of the things, some of the benefits of living abroad, because I know a lot of people are probably sitting there going, to be quite honest with you, a lot of probably Democrats right now that, they're going to move out. I see this. If Trump wins, they're going to move out. And, it looks like the odds are in Trump's favor that anything can happen between now and then, but there's just a lot of craziness going on. You see um, this last week that the Senate ended up basically not passing a law that would have prohibited people from showing federal law that would prohibit people from showing their ID at the ballot box. I mean, that's pretty insane given the amount of illegal immigrants that have flooded in to the United States. I mean, it's just madness. I think, a lot of the states where, and I did some research on this, a lot of the states where, you don't have to show ID, they're probably going to require, or they'll probably have, good Samaritans there going like, yo, you got to show us some ID here. But still, it's still a little concerning that and overwhelmingly Democrats. And listen, guys, gals, I used to be a Democrat. Okay, I'm not a Republican. I'm not a Democrat, and I try to stay neutral in terms of politics because right wing, left wing, it's all the same. But this image that I have up on the screen here, this is gonna live just uh, again. This is one of the most iconic things that I've ever seen, and I think this is really just sealed Donald Trump's fate in regards to becoming, again, the United States president. Now, here's some of the concerning things, and this is, one of the reasons that I left the United States. We're starting to see a huge uptick in public shootings. Now, this is something that I'm really torn on, okay? And that is, let's, take a look at like the list of mass shootings just in 2024 alone, okay? We're looking at 300 and two shootings right here. 302 shootings throughout the entire United States, where 390 people have died and 1,216 people have been wounded. I remember that when I moved here to the country of Panama a couple years ago, I was with my lawyer, and I'm talking to him, and there's always this stigma for United States citizens when we go outside of our comfort zone, which is usually outside of the country. We have this fear because the United States has always told us there's this level threat here and this level threat there, and don't go here and don't go there. And I live in one of the safest countries actually the safest country in Latin America. But at first there was this stigma, like I got to be watching my back all the time. And obviously I use caution or care wherever I go. Okay. I'm not stupid. I don't go, into weird places, whatever. And I'm not out partying. I don't drink anymore. I'm not out till all sorts of hours in the nighttime. There's just a lot of things that you can do to avoid this. But one of the things that my lawyer, I remember him telling me, he starts laughing when I asked him, is it safe here? And he's like, dude, way safer than the United States. And I was like, "Well, why would you say that?" He goes, "You know how many mass shootings there are, man? We're horrified of that." They're like, "We've had one in 10 years." And I was like, so I went home that day and I started researching, like, how many mass shootings have there really been? And when I saw the amount of mass shootings, and last year it was obviously even more. We're not even through the year yet. We're halfway through. Gone through uh, Q1 and Q2, and we have 302 shootings. Okay, 302 shootings. So when I see that, you know, but then my family comes from uh, communist Cuba, and it wasn't that way when they were born. They left. Communist Cuba took everything. Fidel Castro and his regime took everything, and the way that they essentially disarmed everybody was they said, "Oh, your money is no good here anymore. But you want money? Give us your guns." And they disarmed the entire population, and now, that population is helpless. They'll never be able to revolt against the Cuban government. And they sealed their fate. And it's really, really unfortunate. I still have some family members who live over there, and it's rough. They don't have food in a country that should be super abundant. Guys, gals, Cuba, resource wise, when we're talking about food and fish, meat, there's no reason that every single individual over there should not have their bellies full. And yet, the government rations still, there's not enough this, there's not enough that. I mean, you can grow every fruit, almost every vegetable out there. There's more than enough fish out there for everybody to eat. Um, and so it's really unfortunate. So now they just go through these ups and downs, and the government really doesn't do much in terms of infrastructure. It's a very, very poor country. It's beautiful, it's clean, it's safe, but the people really, really, really struggle, and it's unfortunate. And at the same time, though, we've got the United States, who does have guns available, protected under the Second Amendment, who has probably the most amount of billionaires and millionaires in the world as a country, and especially by percentage, we've got that in terms of the United States. And yet people are dying and afraid to go out now. Like, I would be sitting there going, scratching my head whether or not I really want to go to a concert there or a sporting event. Granted, there's probably a lot of security, way more than when I used to live there and when I used to go to, live events. But still, like, do I really want to go to the mall and be scared that somebody's going to come with a gun? And maybe it's an irrational thought, but this is something that's pretty darn serious. I guess if I were to move back, I'd move to some of these northern states here, at the at the top where there's no shootings. But this is something to me that, again, is a very, very scary thing, and especially having a daughter, I just would hate to send her to something and so much die, but even witnessing something like that is very traumatic. I knew people that were part of the Las Vegas shootings. Very traumatic experience. It's awful. It's awful. And so I think for us to be sitting there going like, well, they're just keep giving guns is a little irresponsible, in my opinion. I mean, there are other countries, which I don't know how we can follow some of their laws, and maybe I'm going to look into it a little bit more, where every basically man, woman, and child has a gun, and yet they don't have mass shootings. They don't have these things going on. But again, this could also be part of a deep state operation as well. And if not deep state, just a huge divide between people, because the amount of rhetoric that is going on about Donald Trump and RFK and Biden and Republican versus Democrat. No, guys, gals, it's got to stop. It's got to stop. Again, it's why I left the United States. I would love to be there right now, but it drives me bananas. And when I go, I really feel it. I really feel it. I still feel it over here, but nowhere near than when I'm there. And sometimes you have to remove yourself from the situation to sit there and go like, whoa, this is intense here. This is really, really intense. My family all still lives there, and they're on it. Like my father and mother, good on them. They stopped watching the news. I mean, they're probably watching less news than me, which I thought was good on them. But I think that that's just not enough. It's not enough. So how can things really calm down? How can things calm down? How can we really unite? Okay. And this is something that I've been thinking about. Last night I saw this thing where President Biden was talking on, um, how he called Donald Trump, and he's called him twice, I guess now. And listen, a lot of Republicans are pissed. And I will say this: I mean, the response from Republicans is notably different than the response of typical Democrats. Okay, Democrats, a lot of these Antifa, a lot of these people, when bad things happen, they riot. They get out there. They'll graffiti. I haven't seen that with an assassination attempt on, I mean, arguably the most popular person on the face of the earth right now. And so I think what needs to happen is an olive branch needs to go across, both aisles with Biden, with Trump, with RFK, everybody, and say, look, guys, gals, we're literally going to have some sort of civil war, brother against brother. Okay. The people from California against the people of Florida, if we don't stop this, if it's not already too late, you know, how could things escalate? I mean, man, let me tell you, if that bullet would have been just that much more to this side or that side, I mean, we'd be living in a different world right now. I'll say that. We'd be living in a different world. Okay. There could be other assassination attempts. I really hope that this isn't the case, that it's not an ear for an ear, literally. I hope that people step back and go, wait a second. This can't keep happening. We cannot keep this rhetoric up. Let's try talking. I mean, let's try talking. Can you imagine if Biden and Trump got on the phone together and just said, look, enough of the crazy attacks, enough of all this stuff. Will it happen? I don't know. Maybe. Maybe not. Okay. But here's the thing. If it's not, look, it's not too late to leave. And think of it like a business, right? Taking your tax dollars elsewhere because you do get tax benefits. Think of it as living a little bit more of a calm life. Think of it as living way cheaper. Now, Panama is actually quite expensive. It's not United States expensive, but for Latin America, it's very expensive. Another place that I would like to live, because I don't want to just live in one place, is Uruguay. I love Uruguay. It's a beautiful country, very small, but very beautiful. People were beyond nice, beyond respectful, hardworking, educated. They have great tax incentives for people who want to go and become residents. They have a fast pass to citizenship. If you want to, go over there, you can have a child over there and get one. I mean, damn near in 3 years. There's a lot of plan B options, and there's a lot of things. And I'm trying to get some people here that can give us some good ideas. Because, like, I have one idea as to how you can make some passive income. That's crypto. I see that more as your retirement, your future. And I'm going to show you here in a few minutes here why I believe that to happen. But there's a lot of people who can show you different ways to make money, different ways as a professional, as a nurse, as a truck driver, where you can actually become a guru, a person that can teach people how to do things online and probably make more money than what you're doing right now. Okay. But there is a lot of benefits to moving out of the country. Now, what are some of these benefits for me? Lower tax rate. I get $125,000 write-off per year. Okay. $125,000 write-off per year, right off the top. If you're married, $250,000. the majority of you that are thinking of leaving, you're not even making that much money. Okay, now the idea is hopefully you will one day, but majority of us, let's talk frank right here, they're not looking to do the Lambo lifestyle. They just want to live in peace with as much freedom as possible, with a government that's not going to put their boot on their neck and just say, like, man, okay, I can breathe. Hey, literally, there's no chemtrails. There's no, my food isn't being polluted. I've got good food, good tax system. You know, if I, for the most part, am not out trying to create chaos, people are going to leave me alone. That's what I've done, right? And it, as free as I do feel, I also respect the governments where I go and live. Like I was just in Dubai. Dubai is safe. I mean, you can leave your keys on top of the car and nobody would ever steal your car. Now, do I have freedom of speech over there? No, but would I give up a little bit of that to just feel safe and then to be able to grow my business, but to feel some level of freedom? I mean, we keep hearing about the IRS wanting to tax us more. We have a hidden tax called inflation that is creeping up on everybody. That's not freedom, okay? A central bank that controls your spending habits by teeter-tottering the interest rate. That's not freedom, guys and gals. And there are these hidden things that most people just don't understand. And you have to learn about these things, because if you don't, it literally, somewhere down the line, if eventually enough people just get suckered into these things, you could end up with a CBDC or a central bank digital currency where they go, oh, wow, you said something on X that we don't like. Well, we're going to take $500 out. You violated, your freedom of speech. What kind of BS is that? Right? What kind of BS is that? Now, I even went to places like Russia, okay? And while, again, you don't have freedom of speech over there, okay? The country is way less divided than it is in the United States. There's way less people going crazy. And guess what? And a lot of people don't realize this. For an entrepreneur, you know what your tax rate is? It's 1%. As an entrepreneur, do I really want to leave a country that's only charging me 1%? Probably not. Now, there are people who are like free speech absolutists. The guys from Telegram, they ended up leaving. They were making lots of money, and the government came to them and said, "Hey, look, you gotta say these things." And they were like, "Yeah, we're not gonna say that. We want free speech." And they went to Dubai. Does Dubai have like absolute free speech? No. But it's safe, it's clean, they're growing. People are moving there. 85% of the population is expats, people from all around the world. Okay. Now, the other thing too is getting free from the banking system. And this is a way that they can control you. Okay. They can control you. If you go in there, now there's ways to fight them, but do you really want to be fighting the government? Well, one of the things that I teach, and I've been teaching now for, since 2018, January of 2018, is how to become your own bank. Now, I don't take that phrase lightly. That's a reality. See, I have multiple different banks of Given where I custody the money. And so, and it drives my bank here in Panama nuts, because they're like, they know, hey, this guy makes good money. Where's his money? Why isn't it in our bank? And I'm like, well, because I'm making way more money than your stupid little 5% that you're going to try to pay me per month by putting it in multiple different things. Just my dollars. I showed my students how to make 27% the other day just on my dollars by understanding a little bit about DeFi. And these are things like we can even manage them for you, and you don't lose custody of your money. But you've got to become your own bank. You've got to have the courage to go, I'm not going to be controlled by my bank, and I'm not going to be a prisoner to my country by my bank. Trust me, if these guys don't like what you're saying, still right now, they can start canceling you. They can start doing things. They don't agree with how much you're supposed to pay in taxes. close your bank account or levy it. Boom, your money's gone. They can't do that on the blockchain. They cannot do that on the blockchain. And this is the thing that they are horrified about. Now, some positives out of this. Some positives. People can start using this event to come together. Again, I see President Biden trying to reach out to Trump. Hopefully, President Trump takes that call and just says, look, man, you're ahead in the polls. Looks like you're probably going to win. We're gonna do our best, but we're gonna dial it down. Can you do us that favor? We're gonna dial it down. You dial it down. Let's both dial it down. It's time for us to just bring it down a notch. All right, let's just bring it down a notch. We don't need to go so crazy, and start saying, look, these guys are your brothers and sisters. These are your brothers and sisters in California. Just because you're a brother and sister doesn't mean you have to get along or agree on everything, guys and gals. But man, can't we just talk? What happened to the days when we used to be able to talk? Are those days gone? I'm seeing a lot of rhetoric on Twitter. Some people are uniting. There's more people now uniting under Trump than ever. But can we come back and say, all right, man, this real unfortunate event that happening, shocking. We're always going to remember this. But can we please, guys, try to talk? Can we please, ladies, can we try to talk? This is a free country. We have that ability to have dialogue. Let's show the benefits of that and not the atrocities of it. The other thing, and we can take a look at here right now, is that Trump is still planning on going to this event. Actually, let's start here with the Bitcoin event. But the real culprit here, in my opinion, is potentially the central banks and the Federal Reserves. And these are the things that we see often. Look at the presidents that have opposed central banks, and look at the people who have been assassinated. James Garfield, William McKinley, John F. Kennedy, Andrew Jackson, Donald Trump. Okay. Donald Trump right now is talking about potentially backing the United States dollar with Bitcoin. Okay. With Bitcoin. And we're starting to see that this is starting to take a groundswell. We had Germany last week selling a whole bunch of Bitcoin. I mean, they sold, I don't know how many tens of thousands of Bitcoin that they sold. All right. Now they hold zero. Guess who bought up all those Bitcoin? BlackRock. These ETFs. Guys, gals, you need to learn how to custody your money. Don't wait until BlackRock holds all the wealth in the world. Again, they're not stupid. You need to hold your own wealth. You need to get outside. And look, maybe you're a boomer. Maybe it's a little hard. I promise you, I have 78-year-old, 80-year-old students who have learned how to self-custody, who have learned how to become their own bank. Again, don't wait until BlackRock, Van Eck, Blackstreet, all these huge JP Morgan Chase own all the wealth in the world inside of their ETFs. And then again, you're sitting there thinking all of your wealth is safe, and you say the wrong thing and you get canceled, you get censored. That would be awful. That would be awful. And this is something that we do teach, and there's a link down below where we can show you how to become your own bank, how to make money off of your crypto, and potentially get you out of the United States if you're not comfortable there anymore. A lot of people aren't. Or maybe you'd rather move to one of those northern states where it's a little more peaceful, but you want to have some more passive income. Here's your chance. Here's your shot. Here's your opportunity. So I send positive energy to my brothers and sisters in the United States. I am a true believer in freedom. I really believe in self-sovereignty, but I also don't believe that Donald Trump or Joe Biden or RFK should be our saviors. You're your own savior. You are your own savior, and you can make decisions right here, right now, to be the ones that author your future. Don't wait for one of these people to do it, or anybody for that matter. because you're the only one living in your body in your present moment that can do something now. Hopefully I'll see you all in class. Sending you all lots of love. And I'm sending lots of good energy to heal the world, really, to get us past this really, really troubling time. And hopefully it happens sooner than later. All right, everybody. See you on the next one. Cheers.